So far, so good for the Phils in the series against the Braves. Game number 1, Nick Pivetta. Well, he didn't go deep in the game, but the Phillies had a nice, comfortable lead, and he was able to pick up his first Major League victory. Going deep in the game was not a problem for Aaron Nola. Man, did he accept Pete Mackanin and Bob McClure's challenge last night. He went 8 innings as the Phils won it 3-1. So now tonight, all the activity here at SunTrust Park surrounding Game 3 of this 4-game series between the Phils and the Atlanta Braves. The Phillies have won 4 consecutive games. It's been great to see. How have they done it? Well, they've done it with good offense, a .312 batting average and 28 runs, and excellent starting pitching. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy along with Ben Davis. We get set for game number 3 between the Phils and the Atlanta Braves. And right in the number 3 spot, once again, in the thick of things, is Howie Kendrick, who's been fantastic since coming off the DL.
Yeah, what does your best hitter hit? Well, he hits in the 3-hole. And it's nice to have a guy at the top that can use the whole field. That's why he's hitting .348. But it also helps to have a guy in there with a little bit of thump in his bat. Able to tie it up last night. The Braves had a 1-0 lead at the time, and so did Jaime Garcia. But he's able to even it up there, and the base hit to right field. Not able to score Cesar Hernandez because he hit it too hard. And then Howie Kendrick, his third liner of the night, and just the man stays inside the baseball. If he gets a cookie something slow inside, he will pull it, but he's been outstanding.
All right, speaking of outstanding, Pat Neshek is going to close for the time being for the Phillies, and last night he closed the game out, and they really needed a boost from him with Hector Neris struggling the way he did.
They sure has. And Pat Neshek, we touched on it last week, he's really made one bad pitch all season that has hurt him, the 2-run homer to Michael Taylor. But he's coming in, and he's getting righties out, he's getting lefties out. He's using all 3 of his pitches, and he's just having a ton of success right now. I'm anxious to see how Pete Mackanin is going to use him moving forward.
Yeah, he won't be the closer for the rest of the season probably, but at least for the foreseeable future, which includes tonight against the Atlanta Braves. It is game 3 of this 4-game series. It will be Jared Eichhoff against Mike Foltynewicz. Lineups at first pitch when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. By Toyota. Find your favorite model today. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank, official bank of the Phillies. Visit citizensbank.com. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at IBX.com. Atlanta, Georgia, we get set for game 3 between the Phils and the Atlanta Braves. Pretty nice crowd on hand for this Wednesday night game. Pete Mackanin, his team has played better. Let's take a look at the Phillies lineup, brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Well, a couple of changes for the Phils compared to last night. Michael Saunders starts in right field, so Aaron Altair gets the night off, so no organ music for him tonight. Andrew Knapp does the catching, and Freddie Galvis batting 8th. Freddie's had a good run these last 4 games for the Phils, and they'll face right-hander Mike Foltynewicz, the 25-year-old from Illinois. 3-5 with a 3.90 earned run average. Well, let's face it, his last outing in which he did not receive a decision was arguably his best since putting a Braves uniform on, with matching a career-high 10 strikeouts in that outing.
He has been very good. Strong, powerful arm. He'll sit about 95, and he'll throw that heater upwards of 60% of the time.
First pitch of the night to Cesar Hernandez is that heater, and we're underway. And it's 1 ball, no strikes. Very comfortable night, 77 degrees at game time, as Cesar lines it out to left field, and Matt Kemp stammers a little bit but makes the catch. 1 away. Time now for our Nissan keys to the game.
Offense, I'd like to see them stay hot at the top. The top of the lineup has been very, very good, really being table setters for the middle of that lineup. And Jared Eichhoff, accept the challenge in front of you. Pete Mackanin challenged Aaron Nola, and Jared Eichhoff said, you guys need to pitch better. And Aaron, he accepted the challenge last night. Let's see if Jared can do that tonight.
Yeah, the top of the order that you mentioned staying hot. 9 hits already in this series. That's not too shabby. That's 1, 2, and 3. Now, if you throw in the number 4 hitter, Tommy Joseph, that's 13 hits for the top 4 batters. Odubel takes outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Odubel's 4 for 9 in this series. He has 4 extra base hits. And a foul ball. It's a good rip. 1-1. Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contested is Mike Goldberg of Mays Landing. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game. Michael will win $100. Introducing the new signature crafted recipes at McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Good luck, Mike.
One ball, 1 strike. There's that breaking ball off the outer edge. Throws a slider. Threw a slider 19% of the time last time out, and curveball 10% of the time. I'm surprised he doesn't have a better changeup with that fastball. And maybe he does. He just doesn't throw it that often.
I think it's always a pitch to come along last for power pitchers.
Is that just because throughout each level they would have such a dominating fastball they wouldn't have to use that other pitch?
Exactly. They don't have to go back to it.
Foul tip, and it's 3-2. 96 again. That's the second pitch he's thrown at 96 miles per hour. Home plate umpire tonight is Mike Everett. He's the crew chief. Ryan Blakeney's at first. Jordan Baker's at second, and Bruce Dreckman is around at third. Out toward right center field. That's well hit. It's going to go toward the wall. In fact, it's off the base of the wall. It eludes Ender Inciarte. And another double for Odubel Herrera. That is incredible. 5 hits in the series, 5 extra base hits. And he now has 20 doubles on the season.
Just playing pepper with a fence, Tom. It just comes off his bat hot. This ball is just scorched now. The 3-1 pitch, the fastball was thrown right by him. This pitch down a little bit more, just drops the head. That foot down. He's just not moving forward. Once that foot lands, his head and his hands are not going forward.
Well, that's 5 consecutive games with a 2-base hit for Odubel Herrera. That's a remarkable run. The likes that we haven't seen in a long time. Odubel now has 8 doubles in his last 5 games. That's American Legion numbers.
It is.
0-1 to Howie Kendrick, who was 3 for 4 with a home run in last night's game. And he fouls it off to the right. 0-2. Kendrick hitting .348. That gentleman made a nice play. And he didn't even rent a glove, which you can do, Ben, here at the ballpark. Howie Kendrick is part of a Phillies outfield that has certainly increased its numbers from a year ago. Last year the Phillies had an OPS in the outfield of .677. And now the OPS, although it's not up among the leaders, it's at .762. That's a big jump. And off to these close to the upper deck. And it remains 0-2. Aaron Altair is a big reason why. The outfielders last year hit 37 home runs. That's not a lot of home runs. So far, Aaron Altair and the rest of the bunch have 23 home runs. So they should eclipse those numbers, barring anything unforeseen. A bouncer left side. Odubel will go to third. 6-3 on the putout. 2 outs and a runner at third base. And now Tommy Joseph. Tommy, 10 home runs, 28 runs batted in. He is 2 for 3 lifetime against Fultonevich. Over the last month, Tommy's hitting .294 with 8 home runs, and he fouls it away. A lot of foul balls so far.
And a lot of fastballs.
And a lot of fastballs. I think he's thrown that one curveball. That's been it. No change-ups, right? Oh, we might see something other than a fastball here. Nope, he shook off the secondary pitch, and he threw the 96-mile-an-hour fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, two-seamer, just hard to get on top of.
Two-seamer at 96 miles an hour. Lays off at this time. Swing and a miss. Power to 98-mile-an-hour fastball past him. No runs, 1 hit, another double by Odubel. He's left over at third. On to the bottom of the first. Jared Eickhoff ready to go to work. in the first 5 on the year against the Atlanta Braves. Let's peek at his lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Ender Inciarte lead it off in center field, and Brandon Phillips and Markakis. Matt Kemp, Matt Adams, and Tyler Flowers is back in the starting lineup for the Braves. Rio Ruiz is playing third base for Adonis Garcia, who has been placed on the disabled list. He injured his wrist in last night's ball game. They will face Jared Eickhoff. Eickhoff 0-6 with a 5.13 earned run average. It has been a nightmare season for him win-loss wise. And really the first month, Ben, he was fine. His ERA was 3.56. The next month, well, not so fine.
Hopefully he can get it going against the Braves tonight. Very good numbers in his career. 2-1 with a 1.58 against these Braves. Slider has not been too good. The change he hardly ever throws. The curveball and the fastball is what Pete Mackanin and Bob McClure would like to see him stick with primarily.
Well, the first batter that he'll face is Ender Inciarte, who has 3 hits in this series. Ender hitting .303 with 6 home runs. And a fastball in there. It's 0-1. Talking to Jeff Francoeur today, former Phil, one of our favorite guys, who is now doing some television for the Braves, and he was talking about Inciarte and whether he could be the starting center fielder in the All-Star game. I don't think he can be voted in. In fact, I think Murph brought that up to him. But Charlie Blackmon's had such a good year for the Rockies. Center field is going to be somewhat of a logjam as far as the All-Star game goes, but he is a good one. Serves that foul down the left field line and out of play. Ooh. I think that hit 2 different fellows in the head.
No need to jump.
Check swing. Did he go? No, says Bruce Dreckman. And it's 2-2. That was a slider, I think, from Eickhoff. 80 miles an hour. Usually anything in the 80s is a slider for him.
Maybe it was a changeup.
It could have been. Throws it less than 1% of the time, so that may have been the only one of the game. And a line drive to right field, a 92-mile-an-hour fastball that was up in the zone, and Inciarte has his 4th hit of the series. There's Jeff Francoeur during the pregame show today. Asked the analyst, what is it like to play for the team you grew up watching? And this is him in the booth earlier this week. He told us that he enjoyed being in the booth a little bit more than the pregame show, but he's had a good time with his first couple of days on the air. He said the whole camera is following the camera, and the red light is the tough part.
He'll do fine.
I said, you'll get used to it. They'll have a pattern. He goes, I know there's a pattern. He said, but I don't know if I'll remember it. Red light's on. That's the camera. Brandon Phillips takes strike 1. Phillips has been excellent in this series. 4 for 8 for the Braves. His average of .299. Tonight's ball game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television or change the language through the menu on your cable box. Popped up near the mound. Tommy Joseph says he has it. Boy, Eickhoff was ready to field that fly ball, wasn't he? That pop up.
It's a third baseman and I'm coming out. That pitch at 87. I watched the monitor on this one.
Changeup.
I think that was a little bit of a slider.
Really? He was ready to go, and then he said, I'm going to get out of the way here. Now Markakis 282. He only has 3 hits against Eichhoff. Jarrett is trying to stay in his motion toward the plate instead of falling off toward the first base side. That's been one of his big issues, and part of the reason why he has walked 24 in 59 2/3. That's a high number for him.
Yes.
So Bob McClure and Rick Kranitz, they've been working on the mechanical part of it with Jarrett for the last several starts. Oh, they had him leaning, and Ender Inciarte is caught. Tommy Joseph will run at him, and Freddie Galvis should be able to track him down, and does. That's the quick feed of Jared Eichhoff.
And that little extra pause helped out as well.
Goes 1-3-6.
The little extra pause. It's the best part about Jared and him holding runners on the season is he's not falling into a pattern. He's not getting the sign, holding it 1-2, and then going home, or 1-2, throwing it to first. He's varying those times on how long he does hold the baseball.
Well, it goes down as a caught stealing, and Markakis takes strike one, 1-1. By rule, if he had continued on to first base and been tagged out, it would have just been a pickoff. The fact that Inciarte took off towards second turns it into a caught stealing. He's not pleased with himself. He went after a breaking pitch, and Markakis strikes out. The tag applied by Knapp. First strikeout for Eichhoff, so a nice first inning for him after the leadoff single. We'll move to the second. It's the Phillies nothing and the Braves nothing. Take on the San Diego Padres. Here's a great giveaway from hers. It's the retro pullover jacket for children 14 and under. Get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. That was a popular item last year. It wasn't retro, but this year it is. A lot of retro going on this season with some of the giveaways. There's Maikel Franco against Fultonevich. Franco 0 for 9 so far in this series. And a liner out towards center field. Inciarte comes running in to make the catch. Oh, it's a shame because he hit that ball right on the nose. And it hung up there for him.
I like it because it's a 2-0 count, so you know what you're going to get. Foltynewicz, a good fastball pitcher, and throws it a lot, but he doesn't try and do too much with it. Stays in the middle of the field. Unfortunately, it goes down as an L8, but a good swing by Maikel Franco.
Saunders shows bunt with a slight shift on. They're playing on a pole on the left side. And that moves Ruiz off the third base bag.
Would you say that's modified?
Modified. Bouncer to the right side. Pretty good foot race to the bag. 2 outs.
Oh, I just got this one.
Because he's a rookie?
No. He's taking a nap.
Oh, jeez.
The Oregon. I just got it.
I got you. That's pretty good, actually.
That one I got.
Hedgerow hitting .262 with 3 home runs and 8 runs batted in. Got to get started early with this guy. He's topped off at 98 miles an hour in the first 2 innings.
And I don't see a ton of effort there either.
Two and 1 against the Phils with an ERA just under 5. 28 strikeouts in 25 innings of work against the Phillies. He has not been great here, but then again, the starters for the Braves haven't been great here. His earned run average is 5.32, and that's close to what the ERA is for the Braves starters at SunTrust Park. Braves pitching staff has allowed 38 home runs here at the new ballpark. And a strike 3 called on the outside corner. Second strikeout for Foltynewicz. And he retires the Phillies in order. That's a 9-pitch second inning for the Braves right-hander as we move to the bottom of the second. Of all the news on the Eagles from their latest set of OTAs, including Doug Peterson's take on Jordan Matthews' knee injury. That and more on Quick Slants tomorrow night at 6 here on CSN. Aaron Nola last night 8 innings pitched for the Phils. Just dominating. 5 hits, 6 strikeouts. He said after the game, I think he told Murph this, but he told the writers this too. He felt like he could put his fastball anywhere he wanted to as the game moved on. And his command from his curveball, he said in the first inning wasn't there, but then he found it as the game went on.
It was evident with that fastball command. Boy, was he good last night.
And tomorrow it'll be Ben Lively making his 2nd major league start. He'll be opposed by R.A. Dickey.
He's walking up and down the hallway with a bat in his hand again. I said, boy, you sure do like to swing. And he goes, I got to face a knuckleballer tomorrow.
Line drive caught by Cesar Hernandez.
First pitch swing by Matt Kemp.
And Matt Adams is coming up. Adams 2 for 7 in this series. But a little bit of a scare in the Phillies last night against Hector Neris with that line drive down the right field line. Fortunately, he just got a little out front of that split.
I'm still able to get a single off Hector.
Check swing. He went around. And it's 0-2. I think that's a slider at 79. That didn't look like it had the same depth of his curveball, did it?
I've been watching it down on the field. I haven't been watching the monitor.
That's a curveball. And it just missed. 1-2.
Well, Andrew Knapp didn't pop up like he was going to throw it around the horn, so maybe he was a bit outside.
And a strike 3 called. That's 2 strikeouts now for Jared Eichhoff. 1 swinging, 1 looking.
He goes back to it. That one at the top of the zone.
Now the opposition hitting 190 coming into this ball game against Jared Eichhoff's curveball when it ends an at bat. Yeah, that certainly ended the at bat. Even though he's lost he has not picked up a victory in 11 decisions, 11 starts. He's in good company. Last guy to do that was Cliff Lee, who was winless in his first 13 games back in 2012.
Goes to show you, if it had happened to Cliff Lee, it could happen to anybody.
You remember that 2012 season? He was not getting a whole lot of run support. There are 2 pitchers that are currently in baseball that have no wins and at least 6 losses, and that's Ian Kennedy and Eichhoff. Two balls, 1 strike to Tyler Flowers. And he fouls it off to the right. Shallow right field.
That's a slider.
Interesting, because the last time they wanted to go more curveballs, and they have thrown more sliders in this outing. 1, 2, 3 go the Braves. We'll go to the 3rd. And trivia question. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the information. Please submit your answer.
Eddie Matthews.
On the subject line. No. What player holds the MLB record for most consecutive errorless games in the outfields? Cannot be Eddie Matthews in that case.
Most consecutive errorless games in the outfield.
It's a nice milestone if you like defense. Top half of the third inning. She's got a lot to brag about these last couple of days. In fact, the Phillies are 5-0 against Atlanta. They're averaging over 5 runs per game in the 5 wins so far. And they have 21 extra base hits. Ground ball past Mickey Morandini, who is not feeling as, what did Scott say today? Frisky. Over at first base, trying to field that. Little tapper back to the mound. That almost went right between his legs. Phillies and Braves so far. Starters for the Phils, a 2.25 ERA. And the bullpen 2.57. Wow. Braves are probably looking at the Phillies thinking, how are they 14 games under 500? Brian Snitker's team has not hit well against the Phils, and they certainly haven't pitched well.
Get it started, Jared.
Jared 1 for 13 so far.
Good hack right there. He did get it started earlier.
And again. He went around on that breaking ball. That's a slider. Third strikeout for Foltynewicz. And 2 outs. MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Cesar Hernandez flied out his first time up. Oh, and 2. You can see why he doesn't use his other pitches that often. The fastball does have some good movement on it.
It's nice to have that in your reserve tank, though.
Ooh.
I mean, he's been 93 to 95, but we saw him strike out Tommy Joseph with 98. It's a giant jump between 93 and 98. I mean, a giant one.
And Cesar went fishing, and back-to-back strikeouts, and 4 overall for Foltynewicz. Phillies go down in order. 8 in a row retired by the Braves right-hander. Is brought to you by your Delaware Valley Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Del Val Honda dealer. Visit DelValHondaDealers.com. And by WB Mason. Who but WB Mason for fast, free delivery? Nobody does it better. Last of the third inning. Some of the folks still walking around, getting a chance to enjoy some of the food here at the ballpark. Maybe get a character done. Here's Rio Ruiz. Ruiz will lead it off here in the third. He's playing third base for Adonis Garcia. Garcia went on the disabled list about a half hour before the start of tonight's ball game. Saw that injury that he sustained last night. Taking some swings. Popped up over toward third base. Maikel Franco is over and not enough room.
Not a ton of room down the lines here.
Hamilton, New Jersey's own Mike Zerilli, who is a photographer part-time here in Atlanta, just picked up that baseball and flipped it into the crowd. Mike used to work for me in Trenton, Ben. He ran the press box.
Really?
Yeah. He, Joe Amansky, all those guys.
I was going to ask you when the McDonald's home run jackpot came up. This seems to be an awful lot of contestants from the great Garden State. You don't have anything to do with that, do you, Tom?
Nope. People just like to participate in the Garden State. 2-2.
Another one tonight. It's amazing how that works, huh?
Bouncer back toward the middle. Freddie Galvis behind the bag. One away. Over the Garden State, you might be able to see the Xfinity fireworks shows that are going on Thursday, July 6th and Friday, July 7th. But we'd love for you to come out to the ballpark and see the Pirates and the Padres. It's the best holiday fireworks show in the city. It's never too early to start planning to see these games. Visit Phillies.com for more information and to order your tickets. Dansby Swanson will be the hitter with one man down. Swanson hitting a .194. Out in front, 0-1.
In our house in Aston, where we grew up, the nights we wouldn't get down to the vet to watch the fireworks over July 4th, we used to go across the street to where Newman College, now Newman University, and Newman sits at the top of a hill. We used to go up there, come out of our cars, and watch the fireworks from the vet.
Oh, really?
It's incredible.
Well, the fireworks shows at the vet were some of the best. You know, I used to be covering games for the Trenton Times. And after games, you'd be writing your story and you just sit and watch. They were incredible. And it's carried over.
Yeah.
I mean, the ones at the ballpark are second to none. They really are.
They lasted forever.
Great music that goes through the backdrop. Or in the background, I should say. 1-2 to Swanson. Little line drive out to shortstop, caught by Freddie Galvis for the second out. And 2 outs for Mike Foltynewicz.
How long do you think the leash will be for Dansby Swanson if he doesn't start to hit?
I think they're going to let it roll. I mean, I think at this point they're going to let it ride. Everybody has different plans on how they're doing things. My thought would have been after the first month when he really struggled to maybe send him down at that point.
And he comes into tonight's ball game, 194. Now he's down to 193. You just don't want him to be here and think that he can't play here. If it gets to that point, maybe it doesn't get to that point mentally for him.
Yeah, there's no doubt he wants to stay up here. I mean, life is better in the big leagues than it is the minor leagues. But sometimes there is that opportunity to take 1 step back to then eventually take 2 steps forward. 1-2 to Foltynewicz.
We play this game because we love it and it's fun. But you only really have fun at something if you're doing well at it.
And Eichhoff gets a strikeout, looking his 3rd strikeout. He has 1 in each inning. Eichhoff 36 pitches through the first 3. That's a good sign. Odubel Herrera will lead it off when we come back. Supplier by paying high prices on water, cooler rentals, and hidden fees. Call WB Mason and order all natural Blizzard spring water, available in 5-gallon bottles and small packs at a price you will love. Exclusively from who? But WB Mason. Phillies fans enjoying the right field porch in the Chop House here at SunTrust Park. Nice spot to watch a game. Kind of like Harry the Caves at Citizens Bank Park, which is a fantastic place to sit and watch and get something to eat. Foltynewicz is set to begin the 4th against Odubel Herrera, Howie Kendrick, and Tommy Joseph.
How about that food we had up at Harry the K's last year when we did the game in the stands?
It was really good.
Delightful.
Now, you're talking the food that they served us or the food that the Fanatic threw on top of us?
The food that they served us.
Yeah. Odubel doubled his last time up. Outside. As a catcher, would you prefer that low strike or the higher strike for the umpire to be consistent with during the course of the game?
Low strike, because you don't want to make a living with that high strike unless you have an above average fastball. If you can live at the top, like the Dodgers, some of their pitchers are trying to do. You hear about the spin rates and how you can make a ball stay on plane at higher level. If you can do that, different story, but I want my pitchers to work down.
So Odubel draws a walk. Howie Kendrick's coming up. Murph, what about this Phillies outfield?
I'll tell you what, this Phillies outfield in the last couple of weeks has really started to put it together. It's something that the Phillies front office talked about in the offseason, wanting to improve the production of the outfield. They certainly have done that. Howie Kendrick, the guy coming up right now, has been a big part of it, despite being on the disabled list for a couple of weeks there in the middle. Started the season strong and has come back off the disabled list and has been strong since then, batting well over 340 at this point of the season, which is impressive. And, talking to Howie last night about his approach, it was interesting to hear him talk about how he goes about it. He said, look, I think one of the things you have to do when you're hitting to stay locked in is just continue to try and do the little things, try to move a runner if the situation calls for it. Try to work a count if it calls for it. Little things like that. He said, that helps me stay locked in. I'm able to see the ball better. I'm tracking the ball better. I'm able to hit better, obviously. And Pete Mackanin, I think, gave Howie Kendrick pretty much the biggest compliment that you can give a ball player. And Ben, you can react to this. He said, you know what Howie Kendrick is? He's a baseball player through and through. That's what he is. He is a ball player. He's the kind of guy that is just confident out there in doing what he does. And we've seen that since he's been in a Phillies uniform, guys.
He's been great, and it is nice to have your manager say that about you because of how hard he works and the results that he's getting.
Up and in, 2-1. Pete was also asked today if he's had players like this before, and he said he has, but he said it's refreshing when you do have them. Some years, Pete talked about after the writers had left today, some years you go through times without a player like this. That's just a baseball player that does a lot of the little things that leads to success. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So these are the numbers for the outfielders. No doubt that Howie Kendrick and Aaron Altair have had the best years. Odubel's coming on strong. He leads the league now with 20 doubles after his double in the first inning. He just hopped over Nolan Arenado.
That's why I wasn't worried about him coming back from the disabled list. He has honed his swing, and it's been the same for a 10-year span. It's the same swing. Once you have that ingrained in your muscle memory, you're not going to lose it.
Bouncer back towards second base. He slipped coming out of the box. Odubel is caught between first and second. He wasn't tagged. He's still alive, and now he is tagged out. Brandon Phillips was right in front of him and didn't tag him. He decided to throw to first, and then Odubel just froze. The umpire was very clear to say that he was safe at second base. It goes down as a 4-3-6 double play.
Hey, he tags him with his glove, but the ball's not in it.
Nope. I think Odubel thought the ball was in his glove.
Yeah. I don't think that's the first time that Brandon Phillips has done that to a base runner.
Tommy Joseph takes down and away. Pulled over to third base. Ruiz is up with it. Plenty of time to throw out Tommy. 5-3 on the putout. No runs, no hits, and nobody left. Brandon Phillips made sure of that. On to the bottom of the fourth inning in a scoreless game. Well, it certainly wasn't pretty, but it is our State Farm double play. State Farm here to help life go right. 4-3-6. State Farm double play. You just assumed it would get there. Here's Ender Inciarte, who singled his first time up. That's the only hit allowed by Jared Eichhoff, and then Jared was able to get him leaning off first base. So he has faced the minimum through the first 3 innings. Tommy Joseph, that's a fair ball. 3 unassisted. 1 pitch, 1 set aside. All right, so he's done a better job, Ben, of not falling off toward the first base side in these first 3 1/3. They kept saying it was an easy fix, and he had adjusted a couple times, but then last time out, and he only lasted 2 2/3, he was really falling off the side.
He was. He's just trying to overthrow the baseball. And if you're not falling off, if you're ending up going towards home plate, towards the catcher, that's going to get your arm out in front. You're going to create more backspin and have better finish on your pitches. That's what Aaron Nola was doing last night.
Inside, 1-0. Brandon Phillips playing in his 16th season in the big leagues. First few years, it was parts of seasons. Played 11 his first year in 2002, 112 in 2003, hit just 208. And then played 6 in 04, 6 in 05 before he was traded to the Cincinnati Reds. He's been with the Expos, the Indians, the Reds, and now the Braves. And he lines it to right field, another base hit. 5th hit of the series. One away for Nick Markakis. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Jefferson Health. Call 800-JEF-NOW or visit jefferson.edu. Along with Ben Davis and Greg Murphy. I'm Tom McCarthy. Nice to be with you from Atlanta, Georgia. Game 3 of this 4-game series. Markakis serves it out toward left. Going back on it is Howie Kendrick. He's not going to get it. It's a one-hop off the wall. Read beautifully by Phillips. He's around third. Galvis's throw to the plate is not in time. And it's 1-0 Atlanta. An RBI double by Markakis.
You're right, Tom. That was read beautifully by Brandon Phillips. No hesitation. And he scores rather easily, despite a couple good relay throws in from the outfield. First pitch fastball hunting. First pitch fastball receiving was Nick Markakis. But how he gets it into Freddie quickly. Good relay all the way around. You see here, Brandon Phillips beats it easily. Just gets on his horse, very efficient around the pillows. Every stride in line. Still moves okay.
Gotta give him credit. You know, sometimes guys will hold up because they want to be so conservative on a play like that. There's Matt Kemp with a runner at second base. 1-0 Atlanta. And a curveball drops in for strike one. Backs up the curveball with the slider. And it's 0-2.
I ran in last inning and talked to Larry for a second. I think he's cutting that. I don't think he's getting around it as much on that slider. I think he's just cutting it.
So less of a slider, more of a cutter.
Correct. Because his slider was anywhere from like 81 to 83, sometimes 84. But these are 85 to 87. I just think he's getting on the side of it a little more, creating more lateral movement than one with depth.
And a breaking ball in there for a call. Strike three. Fourth strikeout for Eichhoff.
Big hook. Yeah, that wasn't a bad one to hit, but you start flinching at a ball that you think is going to hit you. Can't pull the trigger.
He's got some good movement on some of these secondary pitches that he doesn't throw as often. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Tommy Joseph waits for this slow roller, and he'll just take it to the bag, and the inning is over. But the Braves strike first. An RBI double the opposite way by Nick Markakis. So Atlanta leads at 1-0. That scored Brandon Phillips, and we'll go to the 5th. And scouts have been working for years preparing for it. Jim Salisbury talks with former Phil and now scout Eric Valent on the next At the Yard podcast. Subscribe and download it and all the CSN podcasts on Apple, Google Play, and csnphilly.com.
I'm going to do one with Jim tomorrow.
Are you really?
I am.
What are you guys going to talk about? Aston Little League?
Him going out to my farm and picking up firewood.
At no charge.
At no charge.
You should bring that up on the podcast tomorrow. His love for Wawa and Hoagie Fest. Michael Franco, another line drive caught by Ender Inciarte.
Man.
Now, how do you quantify success with those two swings?
It's in your mind. You have to tell yourself, I'm on the road to getting out of it. You hit a ball hard, you did something right, and he's done it right twice tonight. Yeah, I'd get rid of that ball too. I might have a dent in it.
Michael Saunders grounded out to first base his first time up. Fly ball left field. And Kemp puts it away for the second out. Well, next week when the Phils return home, they'll start with 2 games against the Boston Red Sox. They'll play 2 up at Fenway and then 2 down at Citizens Bank Park. Get your tickets for both of those night games June 14th and 15th by going to Phillies.com. I don't know if there's a storm coming or if there's a sandstorm coming. I mean, there's one huge cloud that's up above us right now.
Ominous looking.
Yeah, it's got a little orange in it. There you go. It's got a little of our shirts in it. Line drive caught by Swanson at shortstop. And a 1-2-3 fifth inning. Thank you, Ben, for reacting to that. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Time now for our Citizens Bank minor league report. Citizens Bank, the official bank of the Phils. Visit citizensbank.com. Lehigh Valley defeated Buffalo 2-1. Reese Hoskins picked up an RBI single. Reading, meanwhile, lost to Bowie in game 1 of the doubleheader. Angelo Mora was 3 for 4 with a double, a home run, and 2 runs scored. Lehigh Valley is still off to an incredible start here in 2017. On to the bottom of the 5th inning. We got a pretty good pitchers duel going here between Fultonevich and Jared Eichhoff. Tyler Flowers, Rio Ruiz, and Dansby Swanson will lead things off. Will tapper foul, and it's 0-1 to Flowers. He did not play in last night's ball game.
Kurt Suzuki got the nod.
Leading all catchers with that .307 batting average. Lays off. Mentioned that story about the leg kick, how he added it last year in the middle of the game. It was in the 7th inning of a game against the New York Mets last year. That one went right under the glove of Maikel Franco. And Flowers on his way to second. It was kicked by Howie Kendrick. He might go to third. He will. And he's going to slide in safely. I would think it's an E5 and an E7.
That's what I would say. E5, 1 base error.
The 6th error of the year for Maikel Franco. That was just odd what happened to Howie Kendrick.
Yeah. To keep that glove down. I don't know why he just plays it off to the side like that. Just take one more jab step and then.
Oh, how he slipped.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that. I thought the ball hit off the heel of his glove. Rio Ruiz checks his swing on the first pitch. It has now been scored an E5 3-base error. I think that'll be changed because he was stopping at first. To an 0 to Ruiz.
It just can't be E5 3-base error because there's no way he would have gotten to third base.
He hesitated around first base. He might have gotten to second, but he would not have gotten to third.
Right.
Eichhoff with 56 pitches. This is his first 3-ball count. Oh, and Ruiz gets the green light, and he swings through it 3-1. Here's the thing. If he gets Ruiz, he can see his way out of this inning.
Yes.
Dansby Swanson is on deck, and then the pitcher spot. Three and 2. Ball 4. So Ruiz draws a walk. And now it's runners on first and third with nobody out. And Swanson the batter. And Bob McClure going out to talk to Jared Eichhoff.
little surprised with the pitch selection there, because the 3-0 pitch that Luis swung at, he was tardy on. The 3-1 pitch, he was tardy on. Go hard in at the belt. I think you have a better chance than him swinging through a breaking ball.
I agree with that. Particularly, you know, the slider, he's been good with it tonight, but that's still his third best pitch. All right, so now Swanson, who lined out softly to shortstop his first time up, hitting a .193. That is the pitch he's susceptible to, the outside part of the plate. Fly ball left field. That's well hit. Howie Kendrick going back toward the track. It is gone. A 3-run home run for Dansby Swanson. And the Braves now lead it 4-0.
You can't leave one up there. I don't care how badly a guy is going. That pitch sitting on a tee for Swanson. You know, he threw it the first pitch. I think Swanson was out there looking for it again. He just got in a better location. Contact point. I mean, that's head down on it. Good extension and follow through.
The ball went right off Andrew Knapp.
We just talked about it.
Cesar Hernandez calls off Tommy Joseph for the first out. One away. And now Ender Inciarte is coming up. Fly ball, shallow center field. All right, so 2 outs. Brandon Phillips is coming up. Phillips singled to right field his last time up and then came around to score. Swing and a miss, 0-1.
It's going to be a tough hill to climb for these Phillies. I know they've been swinging the bats well, but the way Fultonevich is throwing the baseball, it's going to be tough.
The only way it is if he implodes and cracks a little bit like Garcia did last night. Or if you get to the bullpen, which happened the last time he pitched when he struck out 10. One ball, one strike to Phillips. Inside corner, 1-2. Over to first base on one hop to Tommy Joseph. Well, the Braves are able to bust open for 3 runs on Dansby Swanson's 3-run home run. So they lead it 4-0 as we move to the top of the 6th inning. Blue Cross Philly of the week is always going to remember his major league debut. After being drafted in the 4th round of the 2013 draft, 3 years, 11 months, and 28 days later, the 25-year-old reached every kid's dream. Ben Lively took them out at Citizens Bank Park and was very solid for 7 strong innings. The right-hander allowed just 1 earned run, only 4 hits, and did so without a strikeout. His 98-pitch performance was one he and his family will never forget. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, Ben Lively will pitch tomorrow after the full moon, which is hovering above us. As we go to the top of the 6th inning, Freddie Galvis leads it off against Fultonevich, who threw just 6 pitches in his last inning. He's at 62 pitches through 5, and then a couple here, so 60 through 5. Freddie whacks it through the hole on the right side, a base hit. That is the 2nd hit for the Phils.
Great conversation with Freddie today. Going into last night's ballgame with Jaime Garcia, he was 0 for 11. Then popped up his first at bat, and then was able to get 2 hits. I said, what did you change in those 2 at bats to where you felt more comfortable, was able to hit 2 balls hard? He said, I told myself to let pitches get deep, and if I'm going to make an out, I'm going to get jammed. He said, I didn't want to make an out in front. I looked for something out over the plate, and what that enabled me to do was not swing at pitches, because he said, I know he likes to throw his curveball and his slider at the back foot of righties. He said, so that enabled me to see those pitches deeper and realize that I didn't have to swing at them. He said, if I was going to make an out, I was going to be jammed.
Well, it's nice to see that he made the adjustment during the course of the game. Here's Ty Kelly, who will pinch hit for Jared Eichhoff. Kelly pulls it out toward right field. Markakis on the run and makes the catch. Galvis will go back to first. You a little surprised they pulled Jared this early?
Yes.
I say that only because he was working through things, and aside from the home run, I mean, it was the misplay at third and then left field. Yes, he did walk Rio Ruiz.
I think that at bat would have gone differently, though, if there was nobody on third base or less than 2, or nobody out.
He only threw 68 pitches. Although maybe there was something in that inning that Pete got frustrated with. You know, maybe it was the walk to Ruiz.
Well, I think you also have to look at Fultonevich and how he's throwing the baseball tonight.
Right.
They get the leadoff guy on and Freddie Galvis thinking
maybe that's it.
This might be our only shot at him because he is that good tonight. He is that dominant. So from that aspect, yes, I understand it.
One ball, no strikes to Cesar at 1-1. Out towards center field. That's going to drop in front of Inciarte. And that'll put runners on first and second. All right, so the Phils have 2 on with 1 out. And here is Odubel Herrera. There is Adam Morgan loosening up in the bullpen.
Right man, right spot.
Yeah, the Phillies, as we mentioned, during this 4-game winning streak, have averaged 7 runs. Now, this is probably the best pitcher, or the guy with the best stuff, the way he's throwing tonight, that they faced. Even though Cueto was in there, Cueto was really good. Phillies have 22 hits in the first 3 games of this series, or excuse me, 25 hits. And Odubel got a little out front of that one. Didn't get the sweet part of the bat on the ball.
A little over aggressive there. First pitch breaking ball from Fultonevich.
2 outs. And Howie Kendrick coming up. Howie has hit it to a double play, and he's grounded out to shortstop so far. Do it.
Howie always stays within himself, but right now might be a good time to take a shot at maybe going up top. Swing and miss or foul it off, so what?
That may have been the pitch to do that. 2-1. Opposite way. That is a foul ball. Boy, that was awfully close. First base umpire, though, Ryan Blakeney, was right there.
I think it went over the bag fair. It just didn't land fair.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Kendrick. Upstairs, 3-2. So the runners will be off. A ball in the gap will score Cesar. Actually, a ball in the gap would have scored him anyway, even if he wasn't running on this pitch, but it can make it a lot easier. Tommy Joseph waits on deck.
Ball over the fence scores them all.
Yes, it does. Bouncer back toward the middle. Swanson has it around the second base bag. 6-3 on the putout. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. We played 5.5. It's the Braves 4 and the Phillies nothing.
Head to the bottom of the 6th here in Atlanta, and over the last couple of days, Phillies fans have gotten a chance to see some of the parts of the new ballpark here, SunTrust Park. It certainly is a beautiful place. One of the great parts at Citizens Bank Park, of course, is out there in center field, kind of a celebration of Phillies history with the Phillies Wall of Fame out in center field, and a collage, a photo collage of what they've been able to accomplish over the years. Well, here at SunTrust Park, something similar. They call it the Monument Garden. Of course, the center of it, the best player in franchise history, and Hank Aaron celebrating number 715 with the statue, and all kinds of different things. Retired numbers from all the players that have played here and had their numbers retired. They are celebrated there as well. How about 755 bats to commemorate the 755 home runs hit by Hank Aaron, and of course just a collection of Gold Gloves and MVPs and different Silver Slugger awards and jerseys of players that have played here for the franchise. And it's really interesting as you walk along and read about the history and some of the great players that have played for this franchise. So much like other ballparks all across America, celebrating a little bit of history, a little bit of Braves history here at the new SunTrust Park. It's the Monument Garden right behind home plate up on the concourse level, guys.
Yeah, we walked past it today. It is pretty neat. The video of Hank Aaron is outstanding. They have the Milwaukee Braves, the Boston Braves, the Atlanta Braves, the history of all three. Cesar Hernandez, a fine play to nail Nick Markakis as Adam Morgan enters the game for the first time. 4-3 on the putout, one away.
Excellent play, ranging to his right. Markakis doesn't run like he used to, but Cesar still has to get rid of it pretty quickly. In his glove, out of his glove, right on the money to Tommy Joseph at first base. Heck of a play.
By the way, Ty Kelly stays in the ball game to play left field for the Phils as part of this double switch. So that means that Adam Morgan will bat in the number 3 spot. With the Phillies down 4-0 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Murph, correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, I didn't see it. Ben didn't see it, but I know you did. There is a photo of Sarge also on that memory lane too, right?
Of course there is. Yeah, when you look back at, I believe, it goes by decade, and I was looking. I said they have to have a picture of Gary Matthews here, right? And sure enough, they do. I showed both of you the picture, and neither of you knew who it was right away.
I thought it was Ralph Garr.
Sarge, he looked a little different back there.
He sure did.
Yeah, but yeah, and I said it to Sarge. He was much appreciative.
That's right, Murph's from Philadelphia.
That's right.
1 ball and 1 strike to Matt Kemp. He's lined out and he has struck out looking. There was a picture of Sarge at the old ballpark at Turner Field. Murph and I used to have dinner with Sarge gazing down at us. And we were supposed to get that photo, and we still are supposed to get that photo. And we can't wait till it finally arrives, whenever that is. It's in storage, we were told. I don't know what we're going to do with it, but we'll do something funny with it. That one gets away from Andrew Knapp. 2-2.
Got to see Sarge yesterday. I was very happy I got to see little Sarge. Gary Matthews Jr., who I played minor leagues and the big leagues. The San Diego Padres organization. Spent a few hours together, got to catch up. Boy, it was good seeing him.
Over to the shortstop on 1 hop to Freddie Galvis. Don't lie, Ben. Tell everybody it took 5 hours. 6-3 on the putout. Time now for the Jeep Stump the Fans trivia quiz answer. All right, here we go. What player holds the MLB record for most consecutive errorless games in the outfield?
That would be the man who just got robbed of a infield single, Nick Markakis.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Matt Kemp, who just hit one hop to Freddie Galvis. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. And thanks for playing Jeep Stump the Fans.
Remember when he achieved that, I was thinking to myself, 398 games. That's incredible.
Yeah, he's a perennial Gold Glover. Not as much anymore, but he was. Matt Adams has struck out and he's grounded out, so he is 0 for 2.
Andrew Jones crossed my mind as well.
That's who I would have chosen. Over to second base. That's a clean inning for Adam Morgan as long as Cesar Hernandez can make this play, and he does. So Adam returning home to his native Atlanta. He's from the suburbs. A 1-2-3 6th. We'll go to the 7th inning. That swing by Dansby Swanson is the key to this ball game so far. As we take a look at our Delaware Valley Honda dealers game summary, it came in the 5th inning. It was a 3-run shot, and it's helped the Braves to a 4-0 lead over the Phillies. As we go to the 7th inning, Mike Foltynewicz has been rather dominant. He has 4 strikeouts through 6 innings. He's only allowed the 3 hits. And now he'll face Tommy Joseph as we begin the 7th. Tommy's 0 for 2. He has struck out and grounded out. And it's no balls and 1 strike.
Half of the batters he has faced tonight have been started with the first pitch strike. 11 of 22.
I would think all of them, without going back and looking, have been started with a fastball too. I don't think anybody's been started with anything soft. Maybe the second pitch like you saw there with Tommy Joseph.
Remember Mike Kell in his first at bat got a slider in the dirt.
Popped up. And Adams over toward the dugout. And out of room.
But you're right, other than that one, I don't remember a whole lot.
He's been pretty efficient with his pitch count as well. He's 78 pitches through 15 in the last inning, 6 in the inning before. Third base line, that'll go foul. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Find your favorite model today. Toyota, let's go places. By McDonald's, introducing the new signature crafted recipes at McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by your local Chevrolet dealers. Tommy hits it sharply toward the hole, and a diving stop by Swanson, but he will not get him. So Tommy's got his 5th hit of the series. A leadoff infield single here in the 7th.
Speed kills.
Proper placement too. And here is Maikel Franco, who was lined out twice. Franco Franco's hit it right on the nose in both at bats, both line drives to center field.
See if we can string a few together.
Oh, and 1. There's a breaking ball.
Yeah, we'll get rid of that one we just threw a strike with.
Outside, and it's 2-2. Upstairs, 3-2. And ball 4. That'll put runners on first and second. That was an awfully close pitch.
How do you take it?
Well, Fultonevich is not pleased by the call. Mike Everett's had a good strike zone tonight.
I say, how do you take it? Because it's a 3-2 slider. You're up 4-0. Seventh inning, you think he's going to challenge me here. Even if I go deep, it's only 4-2. Ball's down, and Michael lays off that. I mean, that's a great eye right there. That's seeing, and that's pitch recognition right there.
Well, Chuck Hernandez going out to the mound to talk to Fultonevich. Well, Father's Appreciation Day is coming up on Sunday, June 18th, when the Arizona Diamondbacks are in town. All dads, all men 15 and older receive that Hawaiian shirt worn by Tommy Joseph. Again, it's sponsored by Chevrolet. Go to Phillies.com to purchase your tickets.
After the game, if I'm Brian Snitker, I'm calling Tyler Flowers and Mike Fultonevich in my office. I'm saying, what was the reasoning behind that 3-2 slider, Michael Franco? If he does go deep, so what? It's 4-2. Why? I don't understand that at all.
I think sometimes you catchers outthink yourself.
No.
Not all of them?
No. That's just, if I'm throwing 95, 96.
I'm with you.
Come on.
Saunders takes just below the knees, and it's 1-0, 94. I think pitch selection for catchers this year has been, it's been evident that it's been down in some ways. Outside corner.
That would infuriate me as a manager, even the pitching. I just, give me some type of rational reason why you did that. Because there isn't one.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Would you have gotten called in? I mean, did Lou Piniella call you in, or Bruce Bochy ever call you in?
Yes. But either guy might be between innings. Lou for sure between innings. Boch, he might wait till after the game.
Opposite way down the left field line. That'll slice out of play. And it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. This is 91 pitches for Foltynewicz. He's got bullpen action behind him. He doesn't want it, but he has bullpen action behind him. Jose Ramirez is throwing in the pen. Now the 2-2 pitch coming to Saunders. And a line drive caught by Foltynewicz. They'll get the double play at second base. That ball was hit right on the nose by Saunders.
Ball caught him.
It sure did. 2 outs here in the 7th inning, and that's just unlucky from a Phillies standpoint, and really lucky if you're Foltynewicz.
Right glove side.
Oh.
Nothing Tommy can do.
Wow. Well, that's a base hit and probably an RBI. And a totally different inning. Phillies are fortunate also that Franco did not go as far as Tommy Joseph.
Right.
Or that could have been 3. And Andrew Knapp is now the hitter here in the 7th inning with 2 outs. Ground ball back towards second. Phillips has it, flips to second, and the inning is over. 4-6 on the putout at second base. No runs, 1 hit, and an awful lot of luck if you're Mike Foltynewicz. Keep your eye on the ball, everybody, and the glove in the right spot. The Phillies take on the Mets. All fans coming to the ballpark will receive the Pete Rose Bobble figurine. Compliments of Toyota. It's part of Alumni Weekend at Citizens Bank Park. Go to Phillies.com/theme nights for more information. From high atop the Comcast building outside of right field, SunTrust Park is the new home of the Atlanta Braves. Phillies fans have ventured down to see these 4 games. The final game is tomorrow at 7:35. And the Mets are in town this weekend. The Mets will be in town tomorrow. In fact, they're coming in after the game tonight against Texas. They have the off day in Atlanta tomorrow. Here's Tyler Flowers to lead it off, and he takes a strike. 0-1 from Adam Morgan. Adam Morgan was recalled from AAA after Joaquin Benoit was placed on the DL. Joaquin is with the team and is progressing, and Pete said that they expect him to be ready to come back on the day that his DL time is over. And a line drive base hit to left field for Flowers. So he's on board for the second straight time. And then a single to start the 7th inning as Rio Ruiz will be the hitter. Adam Morgan is from Marietta, Georgia, went to the University of Alabama. His high school has produced 3 major leaguers. And recently Ben Paulson being one and Zeke Sproul being the other. One ball, no strikes to Ruiz, who walked his last time up. Turned out to be a pretty big at bat. Good pitch toward the outer edge, 1-1. That 94-mile-an-hour heater came zipping up and in. And ball 4. That'll put runners on first and second. Phillies might start to get somebody else up in the bullpen. Well, Dansby Swanson's coming up. He provided us with our Toyota turning point back in the 5th inning.
0-1 slider that just didn't get out to the outside part of the plate. Good pitch for Dansby Swanson to hit. He didn't miss it. Gave the Braves a 4-0 lead at the time. That is your GMC precision play of the game.
Outside, 1-0 to Swanson. He's lined out softly and then he hit that home run. Adams just called up today to replace Adonis Garcia on the roster. Two and 1. 95 right at the knees on the outside part of the play. That's a good spot.
When in doubt, go down and away.
2-2 to Swanson. Well, Brian Snitker and the Braves have been very patient with Dansby Swanson. We got the 3-run home run here tonight. I think that Adam tried to throw a similar pitch and just got it too far in. He's got Flowers at second base and Ruiz at first base. That fastball is so much better than it was 3 years ago for Adam Morgan. Luis Garcia warming up in the bullpen. Actually, he's done warming up. Somebody else is going to get up and throw. Looks like Joely Rodriguez. And a liner foul off the tarp. Pretty good battle going on here. Swanson's fouling off some good pitches.
Yeah, I think Swanson realizing that, you know, Adam Morgan, good fastball, but not able to get the other pitches over right now. So he's sitting dead red and attacking accordingly.
So the 9th pitch of the at bat coming right here. There's Kevin Seitzer, the hitting coach for the Braves. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Back toward the middle, off the foot of Adam Morgan. It'll go over toward Tommy Joseph, who cannot make a play on Dansby Swanson. That'll be a base hit. Good try by Tommy to try to swipe him with the ball. But Swanson does run well. The bases are now loaded.
He did everything he could do. Adam Morgan just kicked his glove or his foot out right there. His right foot deflects it in Tommy Joseph's direction. But very heads up play by Tommy, just unable to get Swanson.
Well, here goes Bob McClure out to the mound as Swanson stumbling. Now the base is loaded. Lane Adams, who was just summoned from the minor leagues a few hours ago, will be the pinch hitter for Fulton Evich. Adams was hitting .262 with 5 home runs in AAA Gwinnett. He has been up for 9 ABs for the Braves this year. Former Kansas City Royal farmhand. He's been with the Yankees, the Cubs, the Royals, and now the Braves organizations. He's been up in the big leagues with Kansas City and now with Atlanta.
I guess we should have just kept our mouths shut about Swanson.
Yeah. Popped him up on the right side of the infield. Infield fly rule has been called. 1 out. Well, the Phillies have gotten Fulton Evich out of the ball game. 7 strong innings for him. Four hits, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts for Fulton Evich.
He was excellent.
He really was.
Excellent.
Joely Rodriguez warming up in the bullpen.
56 strikes, total of 94.
And Ciarte is 1 for 3. Is singled, grounded out, and flied out to center. And he serves it foul. Little looper out to center field. That'll drop in front of Herrera for a hit. 1 run will score, and everybody else will just move up a base. So an RBI for Ciarte. 5-0 Atlanta. And Brandon Phillips is due up. And Pete Buchanan's coming out. So that's going to be it for Adam Morgan. They'll bring in the lefty, Joely Rodriguez. Second trip to the mound this inning for the Phil's coaching staff. And Pete has signaled to the pen. We've got another pitching change here at SunTrust Park. It's 5-0 Atlanta on top. Saturday, June 17th, when the Phillies take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. All children 14 and under will receive the W.B. Mason collectible truck. Phillies.com is where you can find out more about the truck and also purchase tickets. You can do that 24/7. Phillies trail at 5-0, and Joely Rodriguez will take over. Rodriguez is 6.49 earned run average. And he is on to face Brandon Phillips. Luis Garcia had been warming up, but then they called for Rodriguez to get up.
You don't see a lefty replace a lefty very often.
Not often, no. Phillips is 1 for 3. Scored a run back in the 4th inning. One ball and no strikes. That one ran right outside. Fortunately, there was a net there because that ball was smoked right past Nick Markakis. And the folks in the first row were saved by that screen.
My goodness.
It's kind of a bail and whale. by Brandon Phillips. He was moving out of the box as he smoked that one.
Yeah. It's almost like he was looking for a fastball in. It was away, and he had just committed too soon.
Line drive caught by Freddie Galvis. The throw to third, and Maikel Franco's foot was not on the bag. Maikel was searching for the third base bag. And Bruce Dreckman was right on it.
Great heads-up play by Freddie. Heads-up play by Maikel to get back to the bag. Unfortunately, he just could not find it.
So 2 outs. And Markakis, who has a base hit today and an RBI, was an RBI double back in the 4th inning. That was the first run for the Braves. So far, the only run they've needed. Want to know? Ball caromed off several things before it stopped at Freddie Galvis, who just swats it away in frustration. The bouncer toward third, off the glove of Maikel Franco down the left field line. 2 runs will score. Ty Kelly gets the throw to second base, and it is not in time. 7-0 Braves on top. Yeah, that's a double, a 2-run double for Nick Markakis.
A couple of these plays just doesn't seem like Maikel's picking it up off the bat. His first step isn't that good quick jab step. Instead of moving laterally right away, he pops up. See him pop up right there? That just slows your momentum going in that direction.
There's a lot of things that are different about Maikel Franco from last year to this year. Offense is obviously one of them. Defense is, there's a difference for one reason or another. That's not the easiest of play, as Ben was saying, but his reactions last year were a little different, a little quicker. 1 ball and no strikes now to Kemp. 8th man to bat in this inning. 2 balls and no strikes. I think it's a good point, though, Ben, just his reactions. You know, the fact that what you said, instead of going left to right, up, and then left to right.
Like a base stealer, if his first movement is up, he's going to slow down on his way to second base. But if you just pivot and stay low,
right,
you're going to be so much quicker to wherever you're going.
Ciarte at third base, Markakis at second base. Ball 4, Kemp draws a walk. I don't really think he wanted anything to do with him, despite the fact that it was a 7-0 ball game. And now he's got the lefty Matt Adams to face. Adams, the 9th man to bat in the inning for the Braves. Atlanta has scored 3 in this inning. They scored 3 in the 5th inning and 1 in the 4th inning. And they're on top 7-0. 0-1 to Adams. Boy, that's a close pitch. Now 3-2. Cincinnati will be moving. Markakis will be moving. Kemp will be moving. Ball 4. That'll force it a run, and it's now 8-0 Atlanta. Boy, as good as the last several games have been, that's how ugly this one is turning out to be. Back-to-back walks by Joely Rodriguez. And Tyler Flowers, who led off the inning with a single to left field, will bat for a second time. McClure out to the mound to talk to Joely and to buy some time as the bullpen starts to work again. Luis Garcia, who was up before, looks like he's throwing in a nightclub out there. The lights are blinking. Tomahawk is chopping. Bob was saying a lot, and Joely was agreeing an awful lot.
Been 4 hits and 3 walks in this inning.
It's just ugly. Fastball 0-1. I think you got to realize sometimes when you're throwing 94 and 95 like Joely, you cannot nibble. You can't be a nibbler.
No. Especially he's got run on his fastball too.
Think about that game he had against the Mets earlier this year, where he was just lights out. And I think Bob McClure at that point thought he had turned a corner. Well, he had turned the corner, but then he did an about face about 2 or 3 games later. One ball, 1 strike to Flowers with 2 outs. 1-2. That's 96 in the inner half. I don't know if he intended to do it or not, but it's somewhat unhittable.
You can see by the way Andrew Knapp caught that. He wasn't expecting it to be in there.
Staying alive. He sprays it foul over the first base side. strike three call. Good frame job by Knapp. And the inning finally comes to a close. 10 men come to the plate in the inning. 3 walks issued by Phil's pitching helped the Braves to a 4-run inning. We'll head to the 8th. Is brought to you by your local Ford store. Check out every new Ford car, truck, and SUV crossover at buyfordnow.com today. Phillies trail at 8-0 as we go to the top half of the 8th inning. Time now for a Hyundai defensive play of the game.
Off the bat of Michael Saunders, Mike Foltynewicz. Look what I found. Phillies had something brewing there. Unfortunately, double play ends it. Foltynewicz able to get out of that inning unscathed. Phillies yet to put a run across in this evening's ball game. That is your Hyundai defensive play of the game, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
Well, Lane Adams stays in the ball game, play left field for the Braves. Matt Kemp is out, and Jose Ramirez will be the new pitcher. Ramirez 2-2 with a 2.28 earned run average, and he'll face Freddie Galvis, Ty Kelly, and then the top of the order here in the top half of the 8th inning. Ramirez, a hard throwing right-hander, 98 on that first pitch to Galvis. Bouncer foul off the front of the Braves dugout, and it's 0-2. Jose Ramirez originally was with the Yankees organization. First made it to the big leagues in 2014. Then went to Seattle, and then finally the Braves. And he'll get an easy out here, one away in the 8th. Ty Kelly is 0 for 1. He flat out to right field his first time up. Phillies saw Ramirez in spring training, and they hit him around. In fact, he gave up 3 home runs in 6 2/3 innings in spring training. They were a little concerned about him. Punched over to third base, gobbled up by Rio Ruiz.
Isn't it amazing you could be concerned about someone who throws 98? I mean, seriously.
Well, that is true.
You just think to yourself, well, he'll figure it out.
He throws 98. He'll be fine.
I guess the biggest thing with a guy that throws 98 is whether he throws it within the strike zone.
Yeah.
Little slider, and it's 0-1. Oh, and 2. Slider, changeup. 87 on that changeup. 10-mile-an-hour difference.
Yeah, that's what an 8-0 lead enables you to do. Is work on a few things.
Cesar singled his last time up, struck out in the 3rd, and flied out to left field his first time. Mike Foltynewicz went 7 innings tonight. The previous 2 starters went 3 2/3, allowed 8 runs. That was Bartolo. And then Jaime Garcia, 7 2/3, 3 runs. Tomorrow, Ben Lively will get the baseball for the Phils, trying to follow up his first major league victory this past weekend. He's been sitting and watching these last couple days, trying to pick up on some things.
Cesar continued to battle here. Goes down 0-2. Spoiling some pitches off here. Ranging anywhere from 87 to 99.
Got him. Foul tip. 1, 2, 3 go the Phils here in the top of the 8th inning. They go down quietly in their half of the 8th. We'll move to the bottom of the 8th inning here in Atlanta. go to the bottom half of the 8th inning here at SunTrust Park. Every time the Phillies pitcher retires, the opposition 1-2-3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. And Luis Garcia will take over, trying to get that 1-2-3 inning here in the bottom of the 8th. An ERA of 1.83 for Luis. That he will face Rio Ruiz here in the 8th. Fly ball foul, and it's out of play. 0-1. Phillies were down 1-0 until the 5th inning. That's when the Braves scored 3 on the home run by Dansby Swanson, and then 4 in the 7th inning. 0-1 pitch coming to Ruiz, and it's out of play again. 0-2. Luis has got 8 1/3 scoreless. The last run that he allowed was back on the 22nd of May against the Colorado Rockies. But even beyond that, he's allowed just 1 earned run since the 20th of May. So 1 earned run in his last 10 1/3. 2-2 pitch. That's foul again down the left field line. A lot of foul balls tonight.
A lot of pitches at 99.
A lot of pitches at 99. That one at 87 miles an hour. Ball 4. That is the 3rd walk issued to Rio Ruiz tonight. And now Dansby Swanson, who was homered and singled tonight, will be the batter. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph.
All right, thanks, Tom. It's the Unlimited Baseball Break presented by T-Mobile. And Astro fans, well, they got a little bit of a scare tonight. Dallas Keuchel was warming up to pitch in their game tonight against the Royals in Kansas City. But after warming up, well, he was a late scratch. They pulled him from that start. Turns out they pulled him not due to injury, but because of illness. They can certainly not afford to lose him. Dallas Keuchel's been almost perfect this year. 9-0 with an ERA of 1.67. So no word on just how serious the illness was, but you would expect that he would be back in a short period of time. Some more injury news. This to Orioles third baseman Manny Machado. He left today's game versus the Pirates because Andrew McCutchen slid in to him and on the tag, and when he did tag him, he injured his wrist. He stayed in the game for a little bit, then had to be removed from that game. No word on just how serious that injury is to Machado, but we'll keep you posted on that. That is your Unlimited Baseball Break presented by T-Mobile, guys.
Yeah, those kind of injuries, they will make teams shudder a little bit. Dallas Keuchel and Manny Machado. Lane Adams takes a healthy swing and a miss at that first pitch at 98 miles an hour. And it's 0-1.
They're still hacking, aren't they?
They sure are.
Man.
Check swing. Did he go? No. And 1 ball, 1 strike. Some other news around baseball today. Gene Segura has agreed to a 5-year, $70 million contract extension with the Seattle Mariners.
Didn't take long.
Well, he's having a heck of a year. We'll see him in a couple weeks. Phillies go back out to Seattle after they faced the Mariners earlier this season. See that Scooter Gennett said he had 270 text messages after his 4-home run game last night.
He counted them?
I guess he was estimating.
I don't know. That's a pretty precise number.
2-2. His mom always told him to round up. Said today he's still trying to comprehend the fact that he, of all people, had 4 home runs in a game. That's 10% of his home run total for his career. And it came last night. A little tapper to the right of the mound. Garcia has it, and he'll get the out at first. And that'll put runners on second and third. I don't know if you saw the replays of the home runs.
I did.
They were all different. Every one had a different personality. And the one to left field, it was as if he just got on top of it and tomahawked it out to left field.
He hit one way out to center.
Way out to center.
The grand slam.
On that knoll.
Yeah.
And then the other one, the last one was a line drive. It was a bullet out in right field. You know, the Brewers let him go earlier this season, despite the fact that his numbers were still good. But they felt like they were heading in a younger direction. And they didn't want to pay him after this year. So they figured, all right, we'll let him go. And then the Reds picked him up off waivers. He's a hometown kid. He's from that area. In fact, his spring training numbers were decent with Milwaukee. His year last year was decent with Milwaukee. Two and one to Ender Inciarte. Swing the bat. 8-0 ball game. Runners on second and third. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Inciarte.
Just looked up Scooter Gennett. He's career .333 against the Fighting Phils.
Oh, he's always had good numbers against the Phillies. Yep.
3 homers.
And ball 4, that'll load up the bases. And Brandon Phillips is coming up. Well, here are all the players who have hit 4 home runs in the game, including Joe Adcock back in 1954. Mike Schmidt, of course, on that. Mike Schmidt back in 1976. Bob Horner in a loss
That man right there.
Yeah, Mike Cameron, were you in that game?
I was in that game.
Were you?
I was.
What'd you do in that game? Did you contribute anything to those 4 home runs?
I think I probably had a broken bat single somewhere. That was very cool witnessing that. 4 homers, and Cammy almost had his 5th. Flew out his last time up to the fence in right center. One record that they did break, he and Brett Boone went back-to-back in consecutive innings. I think it was the 1st and 2nd inning. That had never been done.
Ben, you were 1 for 5 in that game.
Yeah?
Yep. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Big John Roush started that game for the White Sox. Wow.
One for 5, really?
1 for 5 with an RBI. Batting 8th in that lineup. See if we can find out where that baseball went.
Tom, that's funny.
What is? First home run for Cameron. Bases were empty.
Oh, I thought you meant the hit I got, meaning that's what I thought. Where they put that ball. That's what I thought you were talking about.
Second home run for Cameron. Bases were empty. Boy, you're not helping it at all. Third home run, 2 outs, nobody on base. Fourth home run, nobody on. As Phillips takes way inside. You guys didn't help him out at all. 4 home runs, 4 RBIs. 4 solo shots. Where were his teammates?
I had no idea it was 4 solo homers.
Yeah, 4 solo home runs. Cameron said after that one, he said, I thought the best moment of my career was starting the All-Star game last year. But this is history. Phillips fouls it down the right field line.
Cammy lives down here.
Does he?
Mm-hmm.
Could have gotten him together with Junior the other day. I met Mike Cameron back in 1996 at the AA All-Star game. He was part of the home run derby in Trenton, and he was great.
He's a great guy.
Birmingham Barron.
Hilarious.
Swing and a miss. Phillips strikes out, and he can't believe it.
My favorite thing that Mike Cameron did is every time we'd land in the city somewhere, he would sit in the front seat, he'd grab the microphone on the bus, and he would just hold court. It was hilarious.
A lot of clean stuff too, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Lead us in prayer. No, he was, I mean, he had the whole bus in tears.
Did he say keep it close, keep it real close?
So funny. He could go get him in the outfield too.
Now Nick Markakis, who tonight has 3 RBIs for the Braves, including 2 doubles. And he grounds one inside the third base bag. He's going to have some more RBIs. He's also going to have another double. Ender Inciarte will hold up at third base. A 2-run double for Markakis. 3 doubles in this game and 5 RBIs. Braves are taking a little frustration out tonight.
Get 2 doubles in the same spot, all the left side in tonight's ball game. That's just good hitting. Fastball down and away. Really the only thing he could do with that pitch.
Danny Santana now pinch hitting for the Braves. He'll pinch hit for the pitcher, Jose Ramirez. Opposite way. Ty Kelly started in. Now he goes back. It's over his head and to the wall. 2 more runs will score. Santana a 2-run double.
It rains, it pours, huh?
Sure does. Boy, Luis Garcia had been humming along over the last several weeks.
Another double hit to the opposite field. That pitch caught a little too much plate. Pitch before to Markakis was a good one.
Well, here comes Pete McCadden, so that's probably going to be it. Well, maybe not. They might be bringing the trainer out. Wait a minute. It's not a trainer. It's Andres Blanco who's going to come out, and he's going to throw. So Blanco's going to take over. He must have been throwing in the cage underneath just to get his arm loosened up. So that's what this game's gotten to. Braves are on top 12-0. Has played professional baseball. He has never pitched in a professional game, and he is on here. They better check the pine tar on the back of his shoulder, which he always has from swinging the bat. And he will face Matt Adams, first non-pitcher to pitch for the Phillies since Jeff Francoeur in 2015. I wonder if Jeff is watching, if he knows that. That was in Baltimore. That was a terrible night.
Yeah.
Francoeur threw a lot of pitches. 1 ball, no strikes to Matt Adams with a runner at second base. And Whitey just serving it in at 73 miles an hour. It's 1-1.
Remember, Jerome Williams started that game, had to be lifted.
Had that bad injury.
Yeah.
At the plate. Good spot. 2-1. Come on, Blue, you're squeezing them. Throwing below bat speed at 76 miles an hour. Two-two pitch coming. Out towards center field. On the run is Odubel Herrera. Back to the wall, and it is gone. 2-run home run for Matt Adams. 14-0 Atlanta on top.
It's off a position player, but it still counts the same.
And here's Flowers, who takes low. ball, 1 strike. Out to shallow right field. Cesar goes sprinting out, makes the basket catch over the shoulder. And the inning is over. Second time tonight the Braves have sent at least 9 men to the plate. As we go to the top of the 9th inning, it's 14-0. Braves on top. Phillies post-game live presented by Cure Auto Insurance. Michael Barkan, Ricky Vitalico are standing by to break this one down. It was a pitcher's duel for the first several innings, but then things imploded. Some poor defense and a 3-run home run from Dansby Swanson, whose average has climbed over 200 with his efforts tonight. Santana stays in the ballgame to play center field. And Luke Jackson is the new pitcher, his 11th game, with a 1.54 earned run average. Time now for our Coors Cold Hard Facts, as Odubel Herrera steps to the plate. And Odubel with 10 consecutive extra base hits, the most by a Philly since Chase Utley in 2007. He's also the first Philly with a double and an RBI in 4 consecutive games since Utley in 07. Out of play, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Two. Braves with 14 runs. That's their season high.
Shame Luis Garcia's ERA came into the night 1.83, leaves tonight with a 3.98. The 5 earned runs he given up.
The life of a reliever.
Yeah.
Outside, 3-2. Bouncer foul past Juan Samuel.
Tried the Nick Markakis approach.
Not a bad idea.
No.
And a line drive toward right field. That'll be in for an extra base hit as it hits off the wall and away from Markakis. Another double for Odubel Herrera, his second of the game, and it's his 11th double in the last 5 games. That's remarkable.
Never seen anything like it.
21 doubles on the season.
And that means he has seen it well in that at bat, because it's a 3-2 count in a 14-0 ball game, and he stays back on a curveball and hammers it to right field. So that means you're trusting yourself and you're seeing it well.
Andres Blanco is batting. He is pitching. He's hitting 184 in the year with a home run and 4 runs batted in. And a fastball in there, 0-1. Bouncer over to shortstop. Over to third goes Herrera. 6-3 on the putout. 1 out. And Tommy Joseph is due up. Excuse me, Daniel Nava will pinch hit.
Get to hear that Pete Buchanan whistle from up here. Daniel ready to hit.
Yes, he is. That one through the hole on the left side, of base hit. Nava will get the RBI as Herrera will score. And it's now a 14-1 ball game. As Jackson gives up the first run of the night for the Braves pitching staff.
You never like to get shut out. I don't care if it's 14-0 or 1-0.
And a liner to right field, another base hit for the Phils. Nava will stop at second. A single for Franco. And with 1 away, Michael Saunders will head to the plate.
So Michael with just the 1 hit, but I think that was a very productive night for Michael Franco at the plate.
Because of the 2 line drives to center field,
yes,
his first 2 at bats.
And he spit on a 3-2 slider for a walk. So it's 2 bullets to center field and a bullet to right field. That's a productive night offensively.
Michael Saunders fouls that one at the foot, or off his foot, and it's 0-1. Little topper, and it remains 1-2. Saunders stays alive. And Saunders strikes out. Pretty good breaking ball. And there are 2 outs.
You and I were very impressed with Luke Jackson and what he offered the other night.
Knapp is hitless in 3 at-bats. Yeah, struck out looking, lined out, and ended the inning with a fielder's choice. Off the screen, and it's 0-1.
A good changeup. That's what he got Saunders with. Bottom just fell out of that one.
No balls, 2 strikes. Runners on first and second. Yeah, the dirt. Ball and 2 strikes. The pitch to Knapp. Ground ball towards second base. This should do it. Phillips throws to first, and the Braves with a resounding 14-1 victory over the Phils here tonight at SunTrust Park. Pitchers duel through the first 4 innings. Then the 5th inning, Dansby Swanson's 3-run home run opened the floodgates for the Atlanta Braves. You saw Markakis. He had a fantastic night offensively for Atlanta. But Mike Foltynewicz is our Chevrolet player of the game. He was absolutely dominant tonight out on the mound.
Yes, he was from the get-go. He was as good as advertised in his recent starts. Good fastball command, mixed in a few breaking balls later on in the ball game, but predominantly fastball heavy. Got the double play. Oddly, very oddly, the old 4-3-6 double play. But he was good. He had some help from himself. First and second, nobody out. Able to get this line drive off the bat of Michael Saunders. He is your Chevrolet player of the game.
All right, so the Braves take game 3. They win it 14-1. Jared Eichhoff.